Hi there, I was just literally doing a quick live thing on the similar subject around. I know I talk about red brain, blue brain quite a lot, but sometimes when I'm working with people, or I used to as a counsellor, really focus on some of the things that are blue brain experiences for people. Most of it's quite intuitive, but for some, giving them a list of things that they can think about kind of helps them along the way. So some of the stuff fairly basic, being out in nature. Obviously, sometimes it's a connection thing, sometimes about calming the stuff down. If you live in the city and being out in nature where it's quiet and just have time to think with your thoughts, these things can lead to really good blue brain experiences for you. Stuff like art and creativity, right? Or when we think about it, that's an idea that someone came up with. One day that art didn't exist, and then suddenly these people did it. Their creativity and some of the people's talents are amazing, and having just appreciation of that could be something that really is good for you, whether it's sculpting or looking at paintings and going to museums and just doing something different is a blue brain experience. Every time we do something novel, it's very important that we're constantly doing that. Otherwise we kind of just get stuck in a rut. If you're feeling bad about life or mental health stuff that's going on, doing something different that helps you is important, and exploring what blue brain experiences are for you is very different for people. We're all individuals, we all have different things that kind of get us excited. Stuff like role models, right? So sometimes being around people that have done really good things, so you see them as a role model, you identify with them as a blue brain experience in terms of what you want to do in that space. Same with success stories, right? Like you see behind me, there's a whole heap of books around, people that have done autobiographies. So, people have done good things. They've either been good sports people or been very good in that. But what those books do show is a lot more depth about the story. And a lot of times, when you read these books, they're not overnight successes. They don't just go and do stuff and then everything just opens up for them. They actually have to do the work. They actually have had setbacks, and then they come out of it better in another way. So stuff like that really helpful to kind of get a feel that not everybody gets it easy. We think they do. We see the success at the end. You go, anyone could do that, but why not me? So why can't we maybe start? When you start doing some more, then things start to pile up and help you with that. Stuff like travel, right? Sometimes just being in the same surroundings, being around the same people may not be helping you at the moment. So, whether it's travel long distance overseas and exploring a whole new culture, or whether it's just taking a few days to go and, I mentioned nature before, so something like being in nature, you combine the two, you're traveling, you're in nature, but somewhere else, or go to the beach, or all those kinds of things can be really, really helpful for you as well. Blue brain experiences. It's the part of the brain that's getting stimulated and making you feel good about things, not necessarily bad. Without the negative side of it, like drinking a lot of alcohol. Nothing wrong with alcohol, but if you're constantly doing it and you're just doing it to numb the pain, that's not actually that helpful. That's not a blue brain experience in the true sense of what I'm talking about here. Stuff like books and literature, right? People's ideas. When people write books, they either write about a story, or if it's fictitious, again, it's an art form, and so helping you think differently is always going to be of a benefit in that blue brain space. Music's an easy one. Lots of people feel good when they listen to music. Whatever your genre is, it doesn't matter, as long as you're exploring things that make you feel good about life. But understanding also that it can sometimes drag you into a dark place, so just be aware of that type of stuff. Acts of kindness, a really key thing, right? When we get into bad space in our own heads, we can tend to focus on ourselves too much. I feel bad, I don't enjoy what's happening. So doing acts of kindness for someone else, could be a little thing like walking someone's dog, or donating your time at a charity, or something like that. It does a number of things, right? It puts you interacting with people, takes you out of the house, makes you not sit there and feel sorry for yourself. And then it can also sometimes give you insight around other people are struggling even more than you are. So there's an appreciation and a gratitude piece that also adds to that blue brain experience. It's a layering of all those experiences. Stuff like quotes and wisdom, reading about stuff. One of my favorite quotes is, no one ever drowned by falling in the water, they drowned by staying there. So understanding that even from a mental health perspective is, hey, if you're going through dark times, don't lay there, get out. Do something to get yourself out, and you keep kicking and you get out, right? So that's part of also, adding to that resilience where you go, I'm not just going to lay here and cop what's coming. I want to get better. I want to move on and move forward and be positive. Personal growth, sometimes it's good to sit down and reflect on maybe where you were in a certain period. That's why having diaries is kind of not a bad idea, because diary makes you think about where you are now, and you can go back and reread some of that stuff and go, wow, I have really had that personal growth and things have changed for me and things are much more positive. Stuff like mentorship. So this is where you seek out people that you want to mentor. You go, it's kind of in the same mold as role models, but it's a bit more structured in terms of, you might allocate specific times to do stuff. And it's not just about identifying as a role model, you're asking someone to be your mentor, or alternatively, if you're, very knowledgeable in an area, or you've done something that you think will help someone, you can be the mentor. So again, it goes back to that, that piece around that acts of kindness or helping someone out. So again, it's kind of dual purpose in that space. Stuff like innovation and technology, right? When you're just reading about, hey, there's new equipment out there, there's new stuff I can use. Anything that gives you new knowledge is going to create connections in your brain, in the blue brain, in your frontal cortex, and essentially add to your knowledge, your wisdom, and you can talk about stuff. Now you've got some extra material and knowledge that you didn't have before you found out about that stuff. I always mention blue brain as being very much a social piece, right? Like in terms of us as human beings and higher order animals, very social. That part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, is significantly bigger in us higher order animals than, reptiles, and that they have none. So they don't interact, they don't look after their young, they don't work together, whereas obviously we do. So anything that's going to get you around people, forming better relationships, is going to help you in a blue brain space. Community and social causes kind of links in with the whole acts of kindness piece. Getting around people again adds to that social aspect, but also allows you to be part of something that might be a bigger cause. So you kind of get inspired by that. There's an energy that's attached to that. People get excited with each other. Hey, we made more money, all this sort of stuff. Stuff like dreams and aspirations, where you really sit down, think about, where you want to get to, taking the time to slow your brain down. And this could be all combinations of all the things I just mentioned. You could be out in nature, thinking about where you want to get to, what your desires are, what your dreams are, what your aspirations are, who's done that stuff before. Ask. So you can kind of multiply all these layers to get you a blue brain experience that's going to work for you and be very helpful in changing anything that you need to change.